Don't want to waste.
Right, we have joining us Ms. Jasmine Green. I'm just confirming that she can hear us. Yes, can we hear you, Ms. Green?
Hi, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Excellent. And the final candidate, last but by no means least, is Mr. Ryan Brown. Thank you very much, candidate. Same format again. Opening speeches, 3 minutes. Quick fire question round, 1 minute. Audience questions, 1 minute response. Closing remarks, 1 minute. Let's get this show on the road. We will start with Mr. Viber Elliott. Please approach the microphone and begin.
Some of you may already know me as the old man from absence kit in first semester. Others of you may recognize me as the guy who always carries his big flag with him everywhere he goes. And unfortunately, or fortunately for me, some of you may vividly remember me as the guy who tripped at the daily gym of 26. Regardless of what some of you might know me for, I humbly ask that you allow me the privilege of formally reintroducing myself to you tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Vibert Elliott, a proud member of the Faculty of Social Sciences, and tonight I'm thrilled to be running for the position of Faculty of Social Sciences Representative 2023 to 2024. As we near the end of the semester, I'm pretty sure that we all share the same sentiments. The year done, thank God. You see, it's understood that during our university experience, we'll have some good times and we'll have some bad times also. As a student myself, I've experienced firsthand the highs and lows of campus life. From cramming for exams to cramming into the shuttle, I've seen it all. However, history has proven to us time and time again that what has been need not always be. Although we're the largest faculty on campus, our greatest strength is not merely our size, nor is it our diversity, but rather that we are one. In the same way that our respective disciplines each play a role in shaping and understanding society, each of us has a purpose in advancing our student community. As so rightfully said by Greek philosopher Aristotle, the whole is greater than the sum of all its parts. I have put myself up for service because I believe that more can be done to ensure that every student in our faculty is better included, represented, and supported. I believe that this can be achieved through fostering togetherness in our faculty, promoting the activities of academic clubs, creating more networking opportunities for students, and most importantly, by increasing advocacy for the resolution of student concerns. Tonight, I stand before you as one person with one big vision for one even bigger faculty. But I cannot do it alone. The change we need can only happen once we work together. Before I close, I'd like for the social science students in the room to just do a quick show of hands. Yeah. Now I want for each of you to just take a look around and you understand that this right here is our community.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elliott.
Thank you.
Good night, blackbirds. Allow me to unveil my blueprints for how I will transform society. We must allow the foundation to be that society faculty. We must allow the brick and mortar to be the department representatives and the associations so that you, the students, can get proper support. But what does that support look like? It looks like financial aid because it cannot be that every year presidents must determine how this will be solved. We must set up short-term and long-term plans to ensure that every student can reach that graduation stage proudly without having to leave anything. We must also ensure that as the president of the faculty, greater association between departments and the students from across the faculty are included. Society can be found in every single faculty across this campus. We are big bad society. So I tell you, society students, vote for me, because true transformation is only possible with Tremaine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheltman. We will now have Mr. Warren running to the position of Faculty of Science and Technology Representative.
Good night, everyone. It may seem strange to y'all, and it is also strange to me as well, because I don't necessarily see myself as an election candidate. I more view myself as a laborer tonight, because my intention is to build a home. And I don't intend on building a house that popped down, wrecked down. And I surely do not intend on building a house where there's a leaking roof. But most importantly, I do not plan on building a house where the rodents become residents, such that every time a new friend or site come over, we need to introduce them to the master splinter, my phone wrap is in the cupboard, as well as one cockroach. Right? That is not what I want. What I intend on doing is to build some type of infrastructure that not only meets the needs of the science students, but is also able to surpass those needs. And as you can see me here standing up, I'm tall, my back broad, and I got a six-pack. So my point is that I could build this house. I can get this house built for sure, I can even do it with myself, right? But even though I can build this house with myself, I want y'all to understand that although one man can build a house, it takes more than one person to build a home. And that's what we need to do today. And in order to build the house of science and technology, I had initially, my most immediate thought was to reinforce the foundation. And to reinforce the foundation, I would have thought about re-establishing the Computer Science Society. But upon some reflection, I would have realized that there already exists a number of science societies, and there isn't necessarily a need for the establishment of the Computer Science Society. However, there is a need for more opportunities for the science students. And tonight, that is what we're going to be talking about, the opportunities for science students. I know as I conclude science and we're going to be running out of time, I want you all to understand that I do intend on building a strong house. And that is going to be very expensive and time-consuming. Like raising a child, or paying child support, right? But I don't think anyone in here wants to be homeless. You want the 3-story house with the jacuzzi in the back and everything, right? And in order to do so, you need a proper neighborhood. You need to vote for Sean Waldron. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Warren. We now have the other candidate for the position of Faculty of Science and Technology Representative, Ms. Jasmine Green. Ms. Green.
Hello everyone, can you hear me? For those of you who do not know me, I recently joined the Faculty of Science and Technology in September of 2022. I am a freshman, and to some of you that might mean that I don't have enough experience or the capabilities to lead FST to an impactful and empowering community. But that is my goal. From the minute I joined FST, I wanted to learn more about the faculty and how to get involved. I then joined the FST Student Committee and embraced my passion for helping people, because that's what I love to do. When I learned more about FST and observed that there were certain issues that are simple fixes once there is someone who is pushing those issues to be fixed and to be advocated for. And that is my goal, to advise our faculty on these issues and how we can resolve them. From falling in love with the FST student committee, from falling in love with the FST student community, I learned more about the people and how passionate they are themselves about science and technology, but these issues keep them back and even prohibit them in some ways. My goal is to support these students, to be a voice for them, but most importantly, to encourage them to support one another and grow as a family, because that's who we are, the FSC family. I may have a set plan already of how I plan to do this through my mission, STEAM, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics, which is the foundation of the Faculty of Science and Technology.
Thank you, Ms. Green. You will get the opportunity to finish those thoughts, I guess, during the response to the question. Thank you very much. We will now move to the quick fire question round. Yes, Mr. Ryan Brown, I beg your pardon. The candidate for Sherlock Hall representative.
Good night, everyone. My fellow Sherlockites, I bid you on the 27th of October 2022, you would have elected me to serve for the remainder of the academic year. I come before you once again to serve. I hope that you will elect me to be hall chairperson for the most illustrious hall, Sir Philip Sherlock. Consultation with the Most High is of the utmost importance before making any decision, especially a decision of this magnitude. Naturally, some questions would have arisen while pondering if I should go for this position. Would I be able to handle the rigors of this position? Would I be able to maintain a healthy school life and still have a social life? And after much deliberation and contemplation with confidence and God, the answer was a resounding yes. Growing up in a family that understood the value of service, those same virtues were ingrained in me. The cornerstones of service, selflessness, honesty, and integrity are underpinnings that govern how I operate my life. The mantra service above self has become a personal motto. I intend to serve the residents of this hall to the best of my God-given abilities. These mandates that I would have formed them in accordance with the Constitution and with the assistance of the residents themselves and the persons in administration. Alumni Career Day, the upliftment of the TV room, the volunteerism initiative, the Sherlock Columbia, as well as welfare expansion, these were formed to create a holistic Sherlock resident, to enhance their lives socially, mentally, and physically. Vote me to maintain Sherlock's legacy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. So we have heard from all 5 candidates in this part. As you know, we move now into the quick fire question round, where I will pose the question to the candidates and they will have up to 1 minute to respond to that question. And so my first question that I have, that was posed to all of you, what is the driving force behind you right now that is making you want to put yourself up to service at this critical juncture?
Thanks for the question. I think passion is what drives me to put myself up for service. Since coming on Sherlock, I would have developed a love and a bond for everyone. Actually, before coming on Sherlock, I had a love for Sherlock. My grandparents lived in this hall. They were the first residents on this hall some 52 years ago. So Sherlock love and pride has been in my blood. It's in my DNA. So I intend to serve this hall with the passion I have and the love I have for it to the best of my abilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The question was, what is driving you, what is the driving force behind you right now to want to put yourself up for service and join the guild at this time? Your passion.
Yeah. For me, when it started off, it was more, I was looking at my personal journey because I wanted to improve as a person. And then that led me to get involved in the various clubs that are on campus. And now that I look back at it, that's kind of selfish because I was only concerned with myself and my personal growth. But as I continue to hold those positions that I have within UE, I would have also developed a passion for helping others because even though I have a lot of growing to do, it doesn't mean that it is a journey that I have to approach alone. It's something that I can approach with others. And what I want to do is that I want to create an environment where not only I grow, but others as well can grow with me. And that's what drives me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wandering. Mr. Green, the same question to you. Would you like me to repeat? Mr. Green, are you hearing us? Ms. Green. Ms. Green, you're muted.
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, so the same question to you. What is the driving force behind you that makes you want to put yourself up for service and join student government at this time?
What is driving me is my passion for helping students, which has always been a part of me. My goal is to support the mental health of the FSC students, advocate for the replacement of aesthetic equipment, reform the execution of our mathematics course of material, elevate the voices of our women in SciTech, and as well as encourage our students to mentor one another to achieve academic success. I believe that this is not possible by me alone, but that everyone in FSC can unite and push for these goals that we definitely can achieve.
Thank you very much, Ms. Green. The same question to you, Mr. Chalkman.
My driving force is my vision for suicide. Currently, we are a collection of departments rather than faculty. My vision is that I transform us into a functioning faculty where students are more integrated. The reality is that our disciplines are what help society function. Recognizing this now and creating the links that can help us in the future will greatly aid us as we seek to transform the region and the world as global citizens.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chalkman. Mr. Elliott, around yourself on this question.
All right, good night again, everyone. So, the driving force for me to run for this position is simply my passion for people, more specifically the people around me. Us coming to university, for most of us, it was an experience that we were looking forward to meet new people, have new experiences, but for many of us within the social faculty, it has not really been as dynamic as it could be. From speaking to other people and from my own personal experiences, I believe that more needs to be done and more can be done in order for our students' experience to be transformed into something that is enjoyable outside of the classroom, as well as in the classroom, as well as in other spaces such as academic clubs and so on. And it's that passion for people and seeing them strive and prosper and come together, let's have a good time, have a vibe. That is what pushes me and that's what drives me to really run for this position, just to be the best me that I can be, to help everybody else enjoy their time here in society. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elliott. Mr. Brown, we will return to you, and the question for you is, what are your top 3 priority areas if should you be successful in this role?
Thanks for the question once again. One would be welfare expansion. Currently, we have a scholarship on shoulder that we give to residents with the criteria. Give number 3. I would like to expand that to 5 to provide financial support for the residents that meet the criteria. As it pertains to welfare expansion as well, there's currently a program on all where we would buy groceries for residents who really need it. That would be of the utmost importance to me. Because the last thing I would want is for a resident to be studying for an exam while thinking about where their next meal is going to be coming from. Also, I think the alumni initiative, the career day, would be extremely important in linking us with people who have done similar course of study before, so you can have a mentor to aid you in your professional life. And finally, the last one, and the one I think that would be of the utmost importance would be the volunteerism initiative, because I think service is very important. I mean, to inculcate the importance of service in young persons. Feel that we're going to be the next leaders of society. So you have to understand and start now to take initiative to create the world you want to see.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. The next question is for Mr. Waldron. It is one of the questions that we have received. The person asks, the Faculty of Science and Technology spans various departments. How do you plan to foster interdepartmental relationships and encourage student-centered activities? Mr. Waldron, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, that is actually a very interesting question, because what I have realized is that this is my second year. I'm a major in computer sciences. I'm a major. One of the things that I don't realize is that being in my major, I don't really interact with other FST majors. It just seems that I predominantly interact with information technology or computer science majors. And one of the things that I want to do is to create opportunities for the various science students to interact with one another, as opposed to just being exposed to their major alone. Because when you get into like the actual workforce now, you aren't going to just be working with computer science majors alone. You're going to be working with people from various different degrees that they would pretend that they would be in that degree. And in order to create that situation, we believe there needs to be opportunities for the science students to interact with one another.
Thank you very much, Mr. Waldron. Mr. Green, the question that has come in from you, for you rather, the person asks, your mandate about mental health empowerment has resonated with many students. However, there are some concerns with methodology. Given that SciTech students already have a packed schedule, how do you propose to incorporate this new initiative within a packed daily schedule? Ms. Green, you have 1 minute.
My plan is to operate the most active platform on social media, and that is WhatsApp. Forming a WhatsApp support group pioneered by mental health experts and advocates across the Caribbean, who would be able to cater to the students' needs and give them advice and tips, etc., on WhatsApp, on the students' own time, and then additionally the workshops and sessions, etc., that would guide the students in how best they can maintain their own mental health. Those would be done during the weekend and on times when the students are not packed with classes, and then of course we can record those sessions so students who can't make it can still be there, and we can also have roundtable texting sessions in the WhatsApp support group.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Thank you very much, Ms. Green. The next question is for Mr. Trotman. Once again, this has come in to us. The person asks, being that the social sciences faculty is one of the largest, if not, well, is in fact the largest faculty at Cave Hill, and they go on to ask, many times students encounter issues in lectures that are not effectively addressed. How do you plan to effectively manage this so their concerns are addressed?
Proper channels and proper communication. The way that you get to speak to someone is to create a relationship. As the president of society, I will ensure that there is this link between the student body and the administrative body. This will be done, as I said in my speech, by building that support with the department representative and ensuring that every student knows who their department representative is, and that these individuals go out into their various departments and talk with the students. Also, I plan to have town halls every semester so students can come in person and speak directly to the faculty representatives and their department heads and the dean.
Thank you, Mr. Trotman. The same question to you, Ms. Elliott. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, thank you. Alright, so as I would have said in the Book of Vibes, the manifesto available in my Instagram link tree, what I plan to do is to mobilize department reps within the Faculty of Social Sciences, because as we know, it's a really large faculty. We can't expect everybody to all go to the faculty rep for every single problem that they have. So through proper mobilization of the department reps, and by making the students know that, okay, well, this is who you come to have to bring up a problem, there's a channel of communication that is established. So students come to department reps work in their capacity to help them to the best of their ability. And then if need be, they raise those concerns to the faculty rep, who then helps them and assists them wherever they need to get that problem dealt with and resolved in a timely manner. I also hope to make sure that this process is transparent and that frequent updates are provided to students who raise concerns, and that accountability is a main and integral part of this process, so that students know what is happening and that the department reps know that this is a job they need to get done and will get done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elliott. We have lost Ms. Green, I think, for a moment, so while we try to get her back, we will continue. Mr. Waldron, another question that has come into us. The $150 semesterly science fee has been questioned by many students. What do you plan to do to ensure that students can see the impact of this extra fund? How do you plan to ensure the faculty uses these funds effectively?
In terms of addressing science, I definitely understand that one of the major issues that in science, well, even the computer science students express is that they have invested $150, yet they don't want to see anything that shows they have invested $150. And one of the issues with that is that they're still in the process of gathering the funds to get things done. But I definitely do believe that something needs to be done about it. And as a number of the candidates was mentioned in the past, a little bit earlier today, not in the past. But the point is that there needs to be clear communication between the faculty board and the students. So in order to resolve that issue, communication is key.
Thank you very much, Mr. Waldron. Mr. Brown, how do you plan, should you be elected, to maintain a connection between yourself as the chairperson, should you be elected, and your constituents on the hall?
Thank you for the question. Well, currently, I am a very outgoing person, so I frequently common spaces, common areas every day. What I tend to do if I'm an elected housing person as well, is hard walk. So every day, walk to all the floors and speak to residents, see how they're doing, how school going along. Just maintain that connection so that they could trust me. And they get that trust, we build a sense of family. The sense of family that is on the shoulder. So that is why I intend to maintain that connection.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Welcome back, Ms. Green. The question posed to you, to us. The $150 semesterly science fee has been questioned by many students. What do you plan to do to ensure that students can see the impact of this extra fund? How do you plan to ensure the faculty uses these funds effectively? You have 1 minute. Ms. Green, are you hearing us? You're muted.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was actually explained by my lecturer that as much as that extra fee does go into the faculty, he explained that it's difficult to be able to pay for new equipment, etc., with that fee, because that fee already goes into the quality of their education. I believe that what is best is that we take matters into our own hands, and to support the students, we engage the students and show supporters and potential donors that we are doing good for our faculty and why they should invest in us and guide us to better equipment. That is what I believe.
Thank you very much, Ms. Green. You are reminded that we are fast approaching audience question time, so begin to think about your questions so that we can move smoothly along to that section of the night. For Mr. Elliott, this question has also come in from the forum. The person asks, have you reached out to any of your predecessors or former members of the Student Association or anything like that to gain information about the role?
All right, thank you for the question. So yes, in the time that I would have been campaigning, I took some time to speak with the former faculty representative for 2021 to 2022, Mr. Renako Bailey, in which time he told me about some of the ups and downs of the position, and to be more specific, things such as, navigating, speaking with OSS, navigating having to be an advocate for the students while also being an envoy for the staff and admin. And I took that in consideration when coming up with my mandates and also considering my approach to how I would speak to students about concerns and issues, because I am aware of the fact that there may arise times where I have the students' best interest in heart, but the needs and the wants of admin may conflict that. So having that conversation really kind of put things into perspective and allow me to see that though I may want something, ideally I need to keep reality in mind and still try to advocate for students' interests as best as I possibly can. So yes, I did. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trotman. Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Mr. Trotman, the same question to you. The person has asked you, have you spoken with any of your predecessors or any other members to get insight into what the role requires?
Yes, actually, I've spoken to numerous individuals. The first person I've spoken to, former faculty social science representative, and then Vice President Terrell Giles. I've also spoken to the current faculty representative and also the department representatives for GSSWP and economics. So from that, I would determine that a lot of the times the issue is connection and getting things done quickly. And Terrell also told me that relationships is what matters. Because a lot of the time people think that just because you have a certain title or because you've done things in the past and held positions that this will help you get to. But no, the reality is you need to be on the ground, you need to speak to people, you need to understand what are the issues, how you can get these resources to the people that need them, and what is in it for them. Because the reality is we have our academics, but at the end of the day we want to make sure that our representatives have our best interests.
Thank you very much. The next question is for Ms. Green. It is another question. We've gone quite a few questions coming in to us. This question, how do you plan to revitalize the academic clubs within the faculty? For example, METSOC, I assume that's the Meteorology Society, Chemistry Society, I assume that is, and so on. How do you plan to revitalize these academic clubs?
That would be the same way that I plan to revitalize the Women's Team Club. It is to find persons who are really passionate about the department and the philosophy of what they learn, and then that person wants to be able to lead others into creating initiatives and events that empower what they learn and what they want others to know about what they love. Additionally, it is best that we bring in experts in the field who are from the Caribbean, who are able to not only empower, but teach those in the societies how best they can improve in their fields. I think this best would be done by first, as I identifying those persons who will be passionate about leading these societies to reactivate them, and then of course, that the events and initiatives that the societies execute sorry, I'm actually very nervous, being honest, because I can't see anyone, I don't think I'm answering these questions well. But I'm trying my best to share my plans for that.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if you can hear the applause, but it is true she's not able to see the room, but we can only see her. Pardon? Yes, so the same question is for Mr. Waldron. But let me repeat. How do you plan to revitalize the academic clubs in the faculty, for example, Meteorology Society, Chemistry Society, etc.?
Yeah, I understand where Jasmine is coming from But my approach is slightly different in that when I was doing some research, I would have noticed that there do exist a number of those things, such as mensoc and so forth. And the issue that they face is that when they do try to host events, there is a very low turnout. So I don't necessarily think that there is a need for the revival of those clubs. What we can do is that as instead of having these segregated clubs where only meteorology students would be involved or any chemistry students would be involved within that specific club, I think that there needs to be a science society which involves all FSC students. That way, as I was mentioned before, you get a chance to interact with persons outside of your major because you are going to be working with those people in the future. So for me, there is a need for a science society, or not necessarily a society, but at least some type of major project which involves various science majors.
Thank you very much, Mr. Waldron. The next question is for Mr. Brown. Should you be successful, you will be the chairperson of the Trinidad Hall Committee. So what is that would obviously require you to lead that committee. Give us an insight into your approach to leadership.
Some of the qualities, for the question by the way, some of the qualities I think that make you a good leader would be being an effective communicator, as well as being proactive. So as I get information, I would inform my council members and we would in turn make a decision as to how we would act and being proactive, having safeguard, having plan B's, C's and D's in case one option fails than another. So that is how I would lead, that's my leadership style, being proactive and being an effective communicator.
Thank you very much. For the Mr. Chapman, a candidate for faculty, a candidate for faculty of social sciences rep. What is can you identify the major challenge that FS students are facing, and what do you plan to do about it?
Well, speaking with many social students, what I've heard is that they feel left out. You see other faculty having fun and they want more events, so they care about other practical issues to our facilities. It should not be that we should have to leave our faculty to go across the road to what Marshall or to other buildings just to use a bathroom. That is ridiculous. The female bathroom should not be lacking there. So these are the things I will look into, and I will ensure that we solve this issue as a team.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elliott.
Thank you. So I believe that the first problem and probably the most pressing problem in the Faculty of Social Sciences currently is the lack of unity within the society. We are 3 departments with hundreds of students, and many of us just feel like we come to UE to come to UE. We don't feel integrated, we don't feel represented, we don't feel as if we're involved. So I feel as if that is the biggest and most pressing problem within the faculty, and I plan to remedy that by introducing more activities and events, more interdepartmental collaborations, as well as collaborations with academic clubs and societies on campus. And then second to that, I believe that another pressing problem for our faculty is the inadequate academic advising that we have all suffered from. And that is something that I hope to remedy in various ways through advocating for one-on-one quality academic advising, pushing for peer-to-peer assistance, as well as personally putting forward a registration assistance guide to be used in conjunction with the student handbook to aid in registration. So those are the 2 most pressing problems I believe we face. Thank you.
This will be the last round of questions from me, so if we can begin to prepare the audience questions, please. We start with Mr. Ryan Brown. Can you identify for us the potential weakness that you have on the inferior performance, but by the same token, a strength of yours that you have that will propel you forward?
Thank you for that question. One of the weaknesses that may probably hold me back may be that I tend to try to be a perfectionist. So I try to always get things perfect, try to get my way, the best way possible. In leadership roles, both past and present, I understand that sometimes we can't live in an idealistic world. We have to be real. Things won't always go the way you plan. Just one is you still do something of quality. That's what is of your most importance. One of my biggest strengths, I think I'm a very charismatic person. I could rally through so common cause. And I think if I'm elected to be short of our shared person, that will be necessary to lead the council to do great things.
For Mr. Elliott and the faculty of social science representative candidate, the same question. Can you identify for us a potential weakness of yours as well as a strength?
Alright, so I think that a potential weakness for me may be that I tend to be a bit laid back and jokey at times. Anybody that knows me knows that I love a good giggle also. But I do believe that this is one of my strengths because that jokiness also translates into personability and it translates into a passion for the people around me and wanting to make sure that they are good no matter what it may take from me at times. So if elected as the president of the Faculty of Social Sciences, my guarantee and my commitment to you is that I will work to make sure that everyone in the faculty, as far as possible, feels represented, feels supported, and that they know that I'm here to support them in that capacity, well, in a professional sense, and also in a casual, friendly sense. Because, like Drake said, if I'm not dead, then I'm dedicated.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Mr. Trotman, the very same question to you. Would you like me to repeat?
I would say one of my biggest weaknesses is that once I'm committed to something, I go all out, even at the expense to my own mental health and sometimes just my physical health. And while working in a team is not difficult for me, I find that I am too involved in certain activities. And I guess that is because of my background. There's a reason that I chose tried, tested, and true as my campaign slogan. And that brings me to my strength. My experience is my strength. Having been a cadet for over several years, I know what it is to command and work as a team. Being a youth parliamentarian, I know what it is to speak and represent people and do it very well. As a farmer head boy, I know what it is to have to deal with administration and also ensuring that when you leave, there is a legacy so that the person coming behind you do not have to start from scratch.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elliott. The final question from me now, from the round for Mr. Waldron, running for the position of Faculty of Science and Technology representative. The person asks, this question has come in, the person asks, do you have a good working relationship with the faculty office, dean, and other department heads, and how do you plan to foster those relationships to the benefit of the students?
Well, I would say that I have a strong relationship with the dean and the other faculty heads, but because I never really interacted with the dean before, but I would have interacted with the head of the computer science department, right? And one of the things that is key to improving student-to-staff relations, I would have mentioned it before and I will mention it again, communication is key. And it is also important that you don't approach these people based on the title, but you try to approach them as a person first, because that's very important, because all of us have our bad days, you know? And it's important to understand that fact, that you are dealing with human beings. So if you approach that person as a human being, as opposed to approaching a professional, you can get very far.
Thank you very much, Mr. Waldron. Ms. Green, the same question is posed to you. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, thank you.
Go ahead.
Okay, there was a glitch in. I have a very close relationship with the Dean of FST and most faculty members, including the administrative assistant, Mrs. Sam Collins. What the Dean did is she encouraged me to join the exact thing that I'm in right now, which is an Entrepreneurship Accelerator program. I've realized that, and I've also met several aspiring entrepreneurs in SciTech that would like the same opportunities that I have. I think what is best is that we connect these students with the faculty administration and get that, and the same way I got to know them, allow these students to get to know them and for them to share their knowledge and their plans for both FSC and for their future careers. This will best be done through entrepreneurship competitions and networking opportunities. Most importantly, I think in the meet and greets etc. that we have with our students, that faculty, administrative staff should be there as well, so the students can get to know them directly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Green. And with that, we have come to the conclusion of this segment of the night, and we move now into the penultimate segment. And that is the first question from a member of the audience. As you approach the microphone, please tell us the person to whom you're directing the question, and then pose your question.
Hello. Right. Hi, good night. My question is to you, Ryan. This school year, the Charlotte Hall Council would have kind of proven themselves as the most united, with the least number of resignations of the three halls. In your deputy hall chair campaign, you have shown your ability to rally people around you, and as somebody who ran against you, I can attest to that you have been able to rally people around you. A significant disadvantage, though, will be that many of the persons who will be on the incoming council are either studying very highly demanding degrees or also putting themselves up for service on other associations, island associations and faculty associations. How are you going to maintain the strength and unity of the Charlotte Council as you serve along persons with many competing interests?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Lillian. I think what should be understood is that when you put yourself up for service, you have to sacrifice time. And if you're putting yourself up for service in multiple organizations, you have to understand how to manage your time. Time management, I think, will be key. But maintaining hall culture and hall pride will be done through various activities and maintaining some of the activities in current council as well. And I think in rallying the council and ensuring that the council is united, we could then also then further ensure that the hall is united. I think on that front, that is how I intend to ensure that occurs. Thank you.
The second question again to you, Ryan. The last two school years would have included agents in the Charlotte population. We had Germani and Renetta in last school year, and myself in this school year. There are also past Charlotte council members living here in Barbados, such as Tatum David and Shanice Cato. Currently, you serve as the Deputy Hall Chair, and with the alumni, as you said earlier, being one of your priorities. How do you plan to work with your incoming deputy to engage the local alumni and build a very amazing resident-alumni relationship?
All right, thank you, Mr. Lillian, once again for that question. I think, as it pertains to working along with the incoming deputy, whoever it may be, it's very important to establish that to be an alumni, you have to be far removed. You could just be one semester removed from hall. And also, as it pertains to integrating the alumni, we could also involve the CAC in that to ensure that cultural events are planned to ensure that Bajans are included. While working in tandem with the deputy to ensure that they get the invite to come to these events. So that is one way in which I will see that occur. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Next question, please.
Hi, good night. So this question is for the two suicide candidates. Given that FSS would have just occurred in February, did any of you reach out to the committee in terms of helping with logistics before you put yourself up for service?
Ooh.
Did you assist in the logistics of suicide and lending a hand to the executive?
Well, I did not reach out, but I did take part in their debate, which was entitled Legalizing Sex Work for Economic Benefit. So while I would not have essentially been a part of the planning, I was a part of the week itself.
Thank you for the question. Unfortunately, I was not a part of Society Week in planning logistics or attending any of the events. And the reason being for that is that as a member of the Society faculty, as I've said tonight, I, like many other students within the faculty, have not felt identified, represented, or supported by the faculty in my time at the UBK campus. So the reason that I put myself up for service is really to see that other students, including myself, can have a, can have a closer connection to the members in our faculty, and that going forward, students don't feel like how I felt, which is removed from the faculty and its activities. I do believe, however, that it was a really good initiative put forward by the FSS committee, so props to them for that. But to answer your question again, no, I was not a part of the week.
Thank you, Ms. Griffin. Next question, please.
Good night to everyone here present. So candidate. I'd like to start by saying,
Who's your question directed to?
Mr. Elliott, I'd like to start by saying, I think it is first a bit unfair to say that you did not feel represented. One. Nevertheless, let's to the question. You will have had in your manifesto your intention to revise or to reform academic advising, you would not have mentioned any sort of continuation of the plan in which, or the proposal in which was passed under my tenure in including students, incentivized of course, in the academic advising process. You would have also mentioned you wanted to advocate for more one-on-one academic advising pieces. Considering that the current policy within the faculty is that academic advising is first only available to or focus for first year and students that are required to withdraw, and considering the large size of our faculty, how do you, and that there's not enough academic advisors available, how do you really truly intend to reform academic advising as you say?
Thank you for your question and the opening statement. I want to first start off by saying that the sentiment that I would have expressed is my sentiment, which is valid as a member of the social faculty. I also want to continue to say that I do believe that academic advising is an important part of our students' experience. And in my manifesto, though I did say I want to reform academic advising, it was never expressed or implied that it would be for the entire faculty, for every year within the faculty, but within the faculty to begin. Now, that being said, if academic advising is something that we're supposed to start out with, it is understood that all first-year students should receive academic advising, some form of one-on-one assistance or some form of assistance. Now, my plan to reform that is basically just to advocate for it to happen. And this isn't something that I think that I can do overnight or do alone or snap my fingers and cause to happen. I alone can't make the change, but I can cast a stone across the water and cause the river to start. So it is my intention to start the process and hope that with the support of the faculty and the support of the administration, that it can be something that is brought into effect because it is necessary. Thank you.
My second question tonight is to both candidates. You both would have spoken about unity and uniting the faculty. Considering the size and the diversity that is within FSS, there are many students who are unaware of the Guild Council and what the Guild Council does, and even the FSSA and what the FSSA is there to do. How do you intend to educate and begin to advocate for these students?
Well, I plan to do this by ensuring that there is greater in-person and virtual ways that students can get this information. One thing can be you have banners outside around the faculty, and also update the website. We have a website, but how many persons use it? And when you use it, it looks so outdated. These things must change. That is why I speak about true transformation with trimming.
Alright, so to answer the question, honestly, I believe that it really only takes a spark, to get a fire going. I believe that something like... Right, so I believe that in order to get more activity, more collaboration, and basically more integration throughout the faculty, it really just starts from within, internally. If if elected as the president, it would become my duty to encourage and to inspire my committee members, ask them to encourage and inspire their friends, the people in the departments, and so forth. And in my manifesto, I would have outlined that I'd like to start off by beginning the semester with a little meet and greet, where incoming students have the opportunity to not only meet their other first-year peers, but to meet notable members of administration, such as department heads, department representatives, also be able to meet academic club presidents, so that they have the opportunity at the beginning of their tenure at UE to be involved, to be introduced to these different outlets through which they can network both socially and professionally. So I believe that by starting off on the right foot, we'd be able to increase integration throughout our faculty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have another question?
Good night, everybody. Good night to the candidates. Thank you for putting yourself up for service. My question goes to the two social science faculty representatives. So we all know that Big Bad Society is the biggest faculty on campus with the largest student population. So, as a faculty representative, what specific actions do you plan to take within the faculty to make a meaningful, tangible impact on individual students beyond superficial changes?
As I would have spoken to in my speech, I spoke about setting a long-term and short-term plan, because of financial aid. Also, I will look at expanding the events that happen on campus. We, yes, have a campus, but it is a university on this one island. We can have events on the East Coast. We can have events in the North. As students, as regional students coming from abroad and international students, you come not just to get a degree, but for the experience, for the culture. If I am elected, I will ensure that you get not just the sense of Cape Hill, but the entire Barbados experience.
Alright, so to answer that question, I think that it really falls down to promoting more engagement amongst the students and more collaboration and integration through transforming and basically adding that dimension to the student experience. Because as it is, like you said, we're big and it's a really broad faculty, but we have so many outlets through which we could, better utilize to equip students for life outside of UE. So to leave that experience or to leave that imprint on them, what I would like to propose is that academic clubs such as the ASA, the PSSA, and so forth are closer linked to academics, so that students can have an opportunity to meet people, to network, because these are opportunities that are already offered. These are outlets that already offer opportunities for them to develop themselves professionally and personally. And by bringing them closer to the student's experience, that is something that can be done to improve their time here at UE. And then in addition to that, there are other events such as the faculty meet and greet, and some social media initiatives that I would have outlined in my manifesto that I'd like to at least start and hope that they can continue long after, so that students feel included in the faculty. Thank you.
There was a question directed towards Mr. Tremaine in regards to lectures. If it could just be, if he could have a chance to answer the other candidates, I could hear his opinion. It was a question from you in regards to lectures and advocating for students.
Okay.
And it was only directed to Mr. Tremaine, so I wanted to learn Mr. Vibers. But you have to repeat the question.
Oh, okay, right. I can find it.
I believe the question was about how we can better advocate for students' concerns when they have issues with lecturers.
Yes.
With
Right.
lectures, how do you plan to effectively, for the audience, how do you plan to effectively manage student concerns and ensure that those concerns are addressed?
Specifically with lecturers.
Specifically with lecturers, thank you. So as outlined in my third mandate, I would really like to establish proper channels of communication within our faculty by mobilizing department reps. But under department reps, many of us have class representatives inside of our lectures, and by having these department reps being visible, more active in our faculty life, it would be my hope that the class reps or the students know who to go to raise these concerns that they may have about lecturers, and from there have those department reps work in their capacity to assist them, whether it may be having a conversation with the lecturer to say that this issue arose, or elevating it to the faculty rep, and seeing what can be done between us to make sure that any issue that is brought up is remedied within a timely manner and is transparent and reasonable for both parties involved. Thank you.
So we're going to ask our candidates to please respond within 30 seconds so we can take as many questions as possible. Go ahead, sir.
A question for Jasmine Green.
For Jasmine Green.
Given your plethora of extracurricular endeavors, including the fact that you are currently out of the country during the height of election season, how will we as faculty members know that our needs will be prioritized?
Ms. Green, did you hear the question? The question was that the person asked that you have a plethora of extracurricular activities, including the fact that you are not presently ask question.
I believe in immediate response. So as much as, yes, I may have several passions that I dedicate myself to and I do it well, I would have to say that when I see something needs to be done, especially when it's in the FSC chat or if it's interacting with FSC students, just as events officer currently, I do it with immediate response and I do it with immediate urgency because I see that not only the support, but the needs of the FSC students, to me, is priority and very important and high on my list. So you don't have to worry about that.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Right. This question is for both Faculty of Science and Technology candidates. Given that you are both really passionate about enacting change in the faculty, given that the other person is not elected to the position, do you both have intentions of still supporting the student committee in their endeavors? And in what best way do you plan on doing so? Currently, you both hold portfolios on the student committee as the events officer, that's Jasmine, and as the computer science representative, that's Bishop.
You could just like summarize the question.
So,
in summary, the question is, given that one of you is not elected to the position of FST rep, do you still have intentions of supporting the student committee in their endeavors in the upcoming academic year? And given that both of you currently hold portfolios under the student committee, is it going to be basically much more of the same thing, or are you guys going to support the committee in other ways, given that you're both currently the events officer and computer science representative?
Okay, I understand your question a little bit better now. Regardless of whoever becomes the next student representative for the Faculty of Science and Technology, you can best believe that me and Jasmine will be working together because we both have great ideas, you know? It's just who is going to be leading those ideas. And since we both have such a unique approach to getting things done, I believe that it isn't a situation where one or the other approach needs to be taken, but it's a situation where both approaches can be employed to get the best results.
Thank you. Ms. Green. Ms. Green, the same question for you.
I do agree 100% with what Keishawn is saying, that no matter who is elected, that we both would continue to dedicate ourselves to FST. No matter what, I would still push the issues that I see with both Keishawn, when he's elected, and with the faculty student committee, and as well as the staff, and how best we can implement them. And of course, whoever is leading would then be able to implement these issues, but I will not rest, I will not sleep.
Thank you. We will take the next audience question, but first, a question and advice came in on the phone, and it is to Mr. Ryan Brown in regard to the Sherlock Hall. The question is that At present, there are certain challenges revolving around truthfulness and honesty. So how do you intend to, this is the nature of the question, I'm repeating what the question is, so you can assert whether that is so or not, and how do you plan to resolve that if that is true.
Can you repeat the question?
We're going to get you the exact wording of the question. The question essentially is, the question is alleging that there are challenges with regard to transparency and honesty and so on, so you can comment on whether that is so or not, but also more than that, if that is true, what you plan to remedy, and if it is not true, then you can say that all is true.
Well, thank you for the question. Being on the hall, I was unaware that there was an issue with transparency. If people are feeling that way, I promise that I will be transparent. If there's an issue, I'll bring it before you, the residents on the hall, and we could all find a solution to that problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. We'll take the next question now.
Hi, good night everyone. I just want to thank you guys for putting this up for service. Initially, I had imagined the question again towards the science representatives, but I guess the social science representatives could also answer. I am a part of the Faculty of Science and Technology, but I am a cross-faculty student, and I do both computer science and accounting. And in my 3 years, I've experienced a lot of difficulty in terms of course clashes, right? Courses that I have to do from both faculties. And I would have had to do summer school every year so that I keep up with the courses that I have to do in one specific level. Alright, so to you guys, the future representatives, how do you guys plan to remedy that and ensure that students don't have to incur extra expenses like summer school when it's not really necessary for them to finish their degrees? The university sets out a list of courses that we are meant to do, and within those courses we are unable to do them sometimes because of these classes between both, well, for me personally, between the Faculty of Science and Technology and as well as the Faculty of Social Sciences. So I would just like to know what you guys do about that.
Alright, so to just clarify, the issue that you are having is that as a cross-faculty manager, you have a lot of difficulty getting like a proper time schedule and you ever have to take some classes.
Yeah. Right. So if I have to do an accounting, I would have to choose if I'm doing an accounting or computer science course. But most of the times I'm unable to do both in the same semester because there are time clashes. So if you have any plans with regards to going to faculty board or anything like that with regards to the timetable issues for cross-faculty students. And for social science representatives as well, there are multiple degrees within your faculty that would have cross-faculty students. So yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, thanks for your question, man. That's a very difficult question to answer, though, especially for me because I wasn't exactly very aware of that issue before. Of course, this issue seems to stem from the lack of resources because as a computer science major, I would have noticed that a lot of classes are only offered one semester per academic year. And in terms of solving that, I can't really say, I ain't too sure what the solution could be. But that's just me as an individual. I'm not going to be working alone. It's also important that other students come forward and express those issues because they can also offer a lot better solutions that I alone can come up with. That's my response.
Thank you. We'll just repeat the question for Mr. Green and you can answer.
My question is, as a cross-faculty student, I was experiencing difficulties with clashes between courses and having one faculty and the other faculty. How do you, if elected, plan to remedy
Thank you for your question. Okay. Thank you for your question. As both the candidates for Society Rep as well as candidates for FST Rep, we have the same goals. It is best that whoever is elected, that we collaborate, we get down to the source of what that issue is, because it, as Keishan said, could be lack of human resources. It also could be that because timetables are already so compacted that their time clash will be inevitable. But by the reps for society and FST sitting down together and collaborating and getting to the source of the problem, then through our positions on the guild, we can then approach the respective faculty departments of each faculty, and we all together figure out ways how we can address this problem, build a solution, and support our society.
Well, the Faculty of Social Science Constitution speaks to across faculty representative, but I understand an issue of this nature needs the representative who is sit on the Guild Council to really work with the Guild Council and push the admin of the university assembly to ensure that classes do not clash when these persons have to do it. Because you are not the one person that I know has this issue. Speaking with the economic department representative, they were told there are students who study computer science and economics that have the same issue. And I have a friend who studied the exact same course as you, computer science and accounting, and you had to do an extra year just so you could graduate. So, as the faculty representative, I will ensure that courses are clearly laid out and that students have the best information so that they can achieve their subject.
I'd like to say, thank you for bringing this up, because I actually am also a cross-faculty student. I do IR in Spanish, and I have had similar issues where classes that I've needed for my Spanish minor were unavailable because of my IR major. And again, for me, it has been an issue of academic advising, and I've spoken about it in my fourth mandate, which is to increase advocacy for cross-faculty students, because sometimes you don't get advising for your cross-faculty subject. They tell you, okay, this is your major, do this, and then you're just left to figure out the rest. So to remedy that, I hope to, one, increase academic advising for cross-faculty students, or some sort of peer-to-peer assistance to let students know, this is what your options are, this is what you need to do, this is the path that you should take. And as was said previously, it may just be a lack of resources, but that is also something that can be looked into to see what can be done so that students don't have to all face this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. This question is for Mr. Troutman. You had stated that there's true transformation with you, but what is your background to getting this done? I'm asking you, can you get the job done at all? Get the job done.
Yes, as I said, my strength, I have experience in representation positions, being past parish ambassador for St. Andrew. I had to represent an entire parish at a national level. This is nothing new to me. Again, that is why my slogan is true transformation with for me. And try, tested, and true. I have done the work, I have the experience. So vote for me and let me represent you.
Also, Mr. Elliott, you have highlighted that you did not participate in the faculty week of activities, but also within your mandates and about the summary page of your book of vibes, you also speak about the promoting of academic clubs. Still, as a member of one of the most important academic clubs at the university, you stop Pelican Pride. We have not seen you at the inaugural academic gala. We have not seen you at events. I would like to ask the question is, why does the summary and the book of vibes seem to be baseless off of several things that already exist within the academic space of the university and seems to have no real need to serve the students or the faculty of society?
Okay. So, I'm not sure if the question was more so a question was, if you're trying to understand whether or not I am planning to execute my mandate, so it's more so a question to my character and my activity at the campus. But to answer why I haven't been at the events, I, just like many of you, I'm a student, and as for the inaugural event that would have passed, it came at a time when I had a pressing assignment to complete, and I would have communicated that as is protocol. But in relation to the mandates that I would have had in terms of specifying things that need to be done, yes, they may be there in the academic space, but how many of us actually utilize them? How many of us feel as if we're welcomed into these spaces, or that we've been presented with the options of joining them at an early enough time to be a functional member in these associations? I'm not saying that I plan to instantly make everybody in society become one big family, hold hands and sing Kumbaya. I'm saying that I'd like to get the ball rolling and to really assist where I can by being the best version of myself and encouraging members to, foster camaraderie within one another, be your brother's keeper, come out to events. And in the same way that you pointed out that I haven't been at these, I don't know you frankly, you've never asked me why I haven't been at these.
I have another question which has come in on the phone, and I'm reading it verbatim. It's directed to Mr. Brown. Since you did not fulfill half of what you have promised your Sherlockites as their deputy hall chair, the person is saying, how can you assure the residents that if you are given the chance this time around, that you're going to fulfill your promises yet again?
Thank you for the question. That is not true. I was for the deputy chair, alumni initiative, I fulfill that. As it pertains to putting residents in contact with alumni who have done a similar degree as them, I would have done that. And as it pertains to the shoulder of our backup barbecue, that would have been executed weeks ago. All of the members. Thank you.
Audience question time, so we will set the room once again for the closing statement. And while that is being done, a reminder once again that we convene here tomorrow at the same time for another round of debate, this time involving the candidates for Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, Union Committee Chairperson, and Games Committee Chairperson, and I left that the last, and as well to the second part will be the presidential debate that I'm sure all of you would be quite interested in. So please join us again and tell your friends to bring up
committees. It may just be coming out to an event, it may just be supporting people, it may just be sharing words of encouragement along the way. So as we go into the next academic year, just remember that we are one, that we are Big Bad Society. And tonight, I encourage you to help me help you bring lives to Ephesus. Thank you.
Hello, good night. And as you have heard me speak tonight and ask all the questions, you would have heard everything that was said, and I ask you now to go away and think about what has happened tonight. Will follow me on my social media, Tremaine Trotman, to read my mandate, and ensure that we create the best future for social sciences. Reignite the lion in all of you. Let us next semester do the work which is necessary to bring our faculty back to pre-pandemic levels. And if I am elected, I promise that I will carry out my mandates and truly bring transformation to society.
So we are finally making it to the end of a very long night. And if there's one thing that I have noticed across within last year, I have noticed that we have some very brave, resilient students. But most importantly, we are a generation that has survived. We survived a pandemic that has never happened before. We have never been in this situation before, nor have our parents or grandparents been in that situation before. And then there was also the situation with the volcano where we were covered in a fog of darkness for over 7 days. And then there was also the transition from online back to face-to-face. And all those are just examples to say that we have survived thus far. But right now, I want us to start living. And in order to do so, I want you all to elect me to be the Faculty of Science and Technology Student Representative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Holden. Ms. Green, online. Ms. Green, you have 1 minute.
Thank you to everyone who has supported me, for all of my FSC students who are here and those who cannot be here because we are covered in work. I understand the struggle, and it is my goal and my mission to support you. Of course, through my mandates, through STEAM, but as well as through encouraging you all to support one another. And that will be, I will dedicate myself to that methodology as FSC rep. Most importantly, you guys are amazing, doing some of the most difficult things in education, and I would definitely say that you are going to achieve your goals. But of course, sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need to step back and accept that assistance. So that is my goal to you all, is for you guys to feel comfortable and feel free and feel like you're a family. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Green. Last but by no means a colleague, Mr. Andrew.
Passion, honesty, integrity, and selflessness. These are the qualities that I possess that would best equip me to be an excellent tortured person. The most illustrious son, Sir Philip Shore. Being a part of the royal family, the prince, I exude all pride. I love Shore. I will work tirelessly to ensure that every resident is represented, to ensure that their voices are heard. I love Sherlock. Sherlock is me. Vote me to maintain Sherlock's legacy. Thank you.
And with that, I want to thank our participants tonight, all of you. Thank you very much for participating with us. You may go right now. A final reminder, we convene here again tomorrow at the same time in the same place for two very exciting debates. So before you go, we have the bonus thanks to be presented by Mr. David.
Again, everyone. So before I leave, I just want to say thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I know that this debate night would not have been a success without every single one of you all being here. Thanks to the Guild for making it tonight. We really appreciate that as well. And thanks so much to the candidates for putting themselves up to service. Thank you.